what do you think about today's seminar? If you wrap up what we had here, amazing atmosphere from my side, amazing speakers. What's your thought at the moment?
Fully agree with that. And I think what we aimed to achieve here was really to concretize the topic that digitalization really is for everybody. It does impact every industry and every business. Somewhat playfully, I gave a challenge a while ago to my colleagues, Fondians, that if you can come up with any industry or business that doesn't have anything to do with digitalization, I'll buy you a bottle of champagne.
Have they found you an industry?
I haven't bought a bottle of champagne yet, and I actually extend this challenge or this promise also to everybody else. So
okay, the challenge is now on. Use hashtag Fondia DigiSeminar if you can identify an industry that's not impacted by digitalization. Here is Salla Vainio, our Fondia CEO, who will buy you a bottle of champagne. Let's find that industry. We believe there isn't any.
Yes, we don't. We don't believe there is any industry that's not impacted by digitalization.
Hey, thank you, Salla. Let's enjoy the mingle and the drinks afterwards. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Rasmus and I'm from the Finnish software industry.
So, what is the Finnish software industry's view on today's topic?
We love it. We love definitely what Jeff said already in 1995. Everything that will or can digitalize will digitalize. And this is something that is happening in our industry, but definitely in our industries, customer industries. That's the healthcare, that's the big factories, that's the boat builders, that's the legal companies, financial institutes. So digitalization as a process is still ongoing and we have just started it, but as a technology it has already been a long time. We have a saying in the software industry that very soon we will get to something what we call in Finnish ATK. That's automatic tietojen käsittely. So it's just, 2 or 3 years from now we will be in a situation where things can and information can be actually automatically analyzed and things will happen automatically. Today most of the work is done analogically. When we have lots of data and you have to analyze it, you have to make use of it, and you have to give commands to data.
True. Was there anything in today's presentations that gave you sort of new information, something you reacted upon, something you picked up?
There was a lot that I picked up, but one thing that I was specifically kind of a little bit disagreed upon. There was this view that older, let's say 40, 50 plus people cannot adapt so quickly to new technologies, are not so eager to digitalize. And I have seen many cases where the fact is totally opposite, where the guys and gals that have been a long time in one industry are the first ones to jump on the train on digitalization and saying that I've been looking for this, I've been hoping for this for years and years. And finally, we got the courage and the balls to do something to it, and I want to be the first one to test it out. So I'm not 100% agreeing on both the gender that you got your fair share of, the gender and issues, and then on the age issues.
I love when people are also sort of criticizing or having their own views. I got mine for the gender, but everybody who knows me knows I'm the perfect father, of course. So, but hey, thank you, Rasmus. Thank you for coming. Go now and enjoy your fun parts and drinks. And I'm going to give the mic over to Tanja here again.
Ladies, thank you, Totte. Let's have a seat here. We were planning to have a seat. If I sit here in the middle, if you take that box. So, welcome to the stage. Could you first present who you are and why you are here?
My name is Tina Niefors, the CEO of Locknet, which is a company specializing in corporate finance, company restructuring. I'm also a board professional, in which capacity I'm a very fond customer of Fondia's, and of course would never change away. Still not willing to pay a premium, which means I'm in the right place, right? Why I'm here is digitalization is a very highly relevant part to my job, also my customer's job. And I need to understand that better. So at the moment, I'm shooting at everything which looks like digitalization. And this invitation came in very, very timely.
Thank you so much. I'll come back to that, but what about you? Who are you?
My name is Anu Honkalinna. I work for insurance company called AXA. Globally, I believe we are number one in size. I'm the legal director for the Nordic countries. And why I'm here? Well, I got this invitation and I couldn't resist. The topic is so important, even for insurance company, where I believe we're one of the last ones to try to keep the things as they have been for the last 200 years. So I'm a huge believer in digitalization of all the businesses, even legal and insurance, which probably combined are the two last fortresses of non-digitalization so far. But it seems that you're doing a good job there at Fondia in trying to bring the legal parts up to that world.
That's true, and it's really nice that you mentioned that you are kind of looking at the implication of what digitalization is bringing to the legal world. But I was wondering, before we go to that one, what was your takeaway? You were both talking about that the topic in itself is very inspiring, you want to learn more. But what is the thing that you take away from here when you go back to your offices?
Well, several ones actually, in no particular order. Number one is that I really need to make sure that I'm one of your first clients. I'm telling you why very specifically. I specialize in small and medium-sized enterprises at the moment in Finland. Many of these companies are either startups or at the expansion phase or then even at the exit phase. So it varies. And quite often what happens is that you need a lot of legal services, you need them for various reasons, in classically, for example, partnerships that they want to break up for various reasons again. And you need quick tools. You also want to be able to introduce your customers, which are at the startup phase already early on, in appropriate structures, because otherwise I have a mess in my hands quite easily. And there's no way to make sure that happens, that you have to be able to give specialized services in a sort of standardized price levels. And I think some of the tools you have been producing so far at the Fondia are something I would very much like to bring forward, because it also makes my life much easier later on. So that's one takeaway. The second takeaway is I feel that what it's doing to my customer services is something I really need to understand better of, because the decisions made at the board level, quite often you do them without any regard whatsoever what's going actually on the end customers level. And what I do believe is that this digitalization possibility should be opened up at the board level, not only on the company and their customer service level. When you sit in the board of directors, you make strategic choices, you make strategic decisions, and you're trying to determine the roadmap for the next 5 years, let's say, right? Now, without a proper understanding how the world is going to change or what are possibilities where the company could change with the world, you will ultimately make the wrong choices. So I'm going to go back a little bit and do some Google searching, especially on the examples which were mentioned here. I think they were really worthwhile examples. And thirdly, what came to me is that this digital worker never sleeps, is cheap. This is a fascinating concept. We need to get more of these. We need to get those to work on our public sector. We need to have our entire public sector done by digital workers. Imagine the tax savings.
Wow, you put it in such an inspiring package that I want to listen to that later on our kind of a clip. Thank you. What is your takeaway for your legal department?
I have to admit that having looked at the presentation from Fondia and the old way of doing things, I can truly imagine myself in the meeting number 5 in the picture. So my takeaway is that I'm seeing if Erkki is still somewhere there with a show afterwards. So that is, of course, one point. But I think The other takeaway would be in general. There has been a number of speeches, presentations about very interesting topics about where this kind of megatrends are going to. And I think as Tina was mentioning, the digital workforce, that somehow resonates with me as well. And I believe there is a number of tasks that insurance companies and other similar finance companies as well can take a really good advantage of doing more of a boring job and make it go somewhere else.
Hey, thank you, you two. You are such an inspiring persons that came to our seminar. Thank you. But now I'll let you join the drinks upstairs. Thank you so much for coming. And I want to get in touch with you. Thank you, both of you. I'm inspired. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jukka Ohtonen, working for Fondia in Sledgehammer team, mainly for energy companies.
Sledgehammer, that's a very masculine term for you guys working in construction energy. So Jukka, how do you see digitalization, legal services, the energy sector? What comes into your mind?
They are the three things which work together closely, and I think that there is no alternative for them nowadays. So, and we have also seen recently that there will be more use for other natural sciences than only computers and digitalization. Chemistry and physics will be more playing in this game in future, as I see it.
So how do you see, let's talk about the legal service. How do you see that digitalization will affect us?
It will affect us immensely, but still I think that there will always be somebody, a man or woman, a physical person who is doing the job in a way or another, at least by controlling the results of that work. So.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of speculation about what's going to happen to us lawyers. I mean, I think we are safe, Jukka. We are so old that, I mean, it's not going to happen that fast. We're not going to run out of a job, I think. But would you recommend to, for instance, young children now who are about to start choosing their own education, would you recommend for somebody to be a lawyer still?
I would recommend, maybe if they wish so, but I would recommend to start them to study the majors or the subjects they are interested in, because the motivation is the key to everything. Also in the future.
Yep. I think that's a splendid advice. I must now cite a discussion I had a few days ago. I think we're going to end by this, saying that I asked a person about the same question: what would you recommend to your kids that they should study? And this person had talked to somebody else about the same topic, and they had come to the conclusion that, exactly as Jukka said, you should go where your heart leads you, but you should always combine it with educating yourself to being a software engineer. So whatever you do, I mean, even if you become a dentist or a lawyer or, I mean, doctor, whatever, you should always have the software engineering, because that's going to be the future of any of our businesses. You should know what you can automate, digitize, I mean, and then you know what can't be replaced really at all. Do you agree?
Yeah, I really agree, because coding is in so many issues we are working with, and language foremost. So you have to always keep that in mind. Language is the thing, the tools you work with every day.
And according to a study made by in Oxford, I think a couple of years ago, if you want to be a high risk, if you're a gambler, go into telemarketing, because these jobs will be automated, each and every one pretty soon. And if you want to play safe and don't take any risk, I think the prognosis was that it has a 0.28% risk of being automized, and that is being a therapist. They didn't see that coming still, I mean, at Oxford, and they made a huge study. So I think now, Tanja, do you have anything more to say?
I think it's getting time to wrap up our seminar and also the live stream.